We have Sheriff Spurling here to give us an update on the criminal investigation. Sheriff, thank you for coming.
Thanks, Pete.
We told him it was a rowdy crowd.
Yes, yes. Well, first off, I was reflecting on how I got involved with some of this out here and what happened. So I'm just going to briefly recap. What was it, 2022, when the audit came out from the state auditor and it hit the papers. At that point, the FBI contacted Sheriff Salisbury and said, look, we have a government corruption unit that would like to take the case from you. Talked to Prosecutor Dorsey and to Sheriff Salisbury, and they said, yeah, you're going to have more resources to do that. So the FBI took the case in 2022. 11 months ago, after I'd been elected for sheriff, you guys asked me to come out to a meeting. Mike did out here at the Grange, and it was 18 degrees out there in the Grange, and there were 50 people at least in the Grange, and I got to hear a lot of what was going on. At that time, I told you that the sheriff had given it to the FBI, and that if I wasn't satisfied by June, I would take it back from the FBI. Well, we got involved in the investigation, and I got Sergeant Rhodes involved in the investigation in April of this year. So we've been involved for 6 months. Last week, I called the supervisor of the FBI agent who's in charge of the investigation, and he gave me an update. A lot of what he gave me I cannot give to you, but I can tell you that I'm satisfied that they're still moving forward, and he had just had a meeting that day with the Assistant U.S. District Attorney. So the investigation is still going. Just talked with Mike. Mike has been trying to get, for our detectives, a list of all of the items that have been missing or stolen or just are no longer in the inventory that should be. And I understand that this takes a long time because you're finding things out as you go. So what I've asked Mike to do is go ahead and send a list right now of what we have, and then just each time you find something new, add that to the list to send to Jeff Rhodes, which is the detective sergeant that is handling it from our end. The investigation is ongoing. I'm satisfied that the FBI is still doing their stuff. And each month, at the first fire district of the month, we will have myself or somebody out here to update you. And it's my responsibility to make sure you know what's going on, and you guys are holding me and our agency, who is pushing pressure on the FBI as well, holding them accountable and making sure that we're moving forward. But one thing I want to encourage you, it's gone this far. If we rush now, we'll miss some things. This is pretty complicated spider web. So we want to do it right. The FBI wants to do it right. We're working with them, so we're still moving forward. And I will give you a monthly update of things that I can give to you. But as I said, I'm satisfied that they're moving forward. I don't have to go to his boss. We just have to be patient a little bit. The other thing I wanted to say, this place looks great. I mean, look at everything, and you guys, the investment that you guys put in, thank you for the community. Thank you for just the hard work. And it's not just talk, it's blood, sweat, and tears that you guys have put into rebuilding this. And it's a great example of what communities can do. So I'm proud of Fire District 12 at this point.
Thank you. Sheriff, can you explain, I know some of us have heard it, but some have not, why you can't proceed separately from the FBI on the more local issues? Is there
when you're
reason
running
for that?
Yeah, when you're running concurrent investigations, if you're, for example, if I was investigating somebody for homicide and another agency, the federal agency, was doing it as well, and we both wanted the same piece of evidence to do our convictions, we have to what's called deconflict, so that we're not asking for search warrants for the same thing, both of us. So you have to work together, and that's what we're doing as we move forward. Now, I could grab it and bring it back, but I can tell you we don't want to at this point. The amount of effort and time that they put into it and what information they have, I don't want to bring it back and not have it move forward in the federal courts as well. Yes?
So what's the line of demarcation then for when their investigation is going to sunset and they're going to move forward with prosecution and the rest of the stuff that is coming to light? Like the stuff that we're finding with the inventory, all this other little odds and ends stuff is adding up. So is that being forwarded to the FBI as well?
Yes, because Sergeant Rhodes is working.
or?
Yeah, they're making sure that if they don't pick something up, we will.
Okay, so it's not gonna get left sitting, so
They-
whatever
it
they don't
shouldn't.
include in their investigation and whatever they don't prosecute on the federal level will be left to the local level, and there shouldn't be a conflict at that point, right?
Right, and some things we may even be able to move forward for prosecution of both.
Okay.
Do you have any status of where they're at right now? with the
I do,
case?
but I really can't. They asked me not to divulge anything right now because it may compromise some of the investigation.
Okay.
But I called them myself, and then I will be back next month to give an update, and I'm hoping to give you a better update.
So are we.
Yeah, and I'll continue to come out, and thank you for allowing me to be out here. I'm going to try to be out here the first meeting every month. We were having a meeting so that people could express their concerns out at the Grange, but that dwindled down to, I think there was 3 or 4 of us one time, and 2 of them were running for office, so.
Sheriff, if I might, and I know you're just,
Please.
closing out there, but I think one of the things that confuses me is, and I understand the federal investigation and the things that are going on with respect to that to some degree, but not being in law enforcement or law or those kind of things. I think that the question that I and maybe some of our constituents have is, there's also many state level liabilities as a result of the conduct of the past administrations here. And I'm talking things like public records, Open Public Meetings Act, so forth and so on, that presently the board considers unknown and possibly very large liabilities to the district. And I don't know, certainly doesn't fall necessarily in, I mean, do I call 911 and say, hey, there's no records here? Where's the Attorney General?
That's a good question.
Where is the state law enforcement for state law compliance with respect to that?
Yeah,
Again, separate animal from the
we
other
primarily
stuff.
deal with the criminal.
Yeah,
We
I
don't-
understand.
We don't deal with a lot of the other stuff.
But I don't
but
deal with
there
any
are
law
entities.
enforcement. I don't know where to go
Right.
to look at that.
Right, I know that it can go before the judges, and the judges can give penalties when it comes to Open Public Record Acts and that type of
But
thing.
that's penalties on them.
It's up to, from what I understand, it's up to the Attorney General's office to move forward with that. And from what I've heard, they've refused to move forward on
Yes,
these
they have
rules.
refused.
So, keep moving with letters and that type of stuff there, because that's not something I can move forward
Sure,
with.
no, I understand. And that,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm just not
It is
a
frustrating.
law enforcement guy or no.
If I have something here. So, as far as I know, we've actually never put in writing what's the word? Huh? Yeah, like a police report. Do we need to? We have never,
did.
as a fire district, really.
We put a small one in
Yeah,
on
but
the
I mean, it's-
website, but I've not
Right.
heard anything on that.
No.
Well, I know that Trina, with all the information you gave me, and I think Dave has given, when I first started coming out, I brought that back, and I brought an entire packet to Sergeant Rhodes, and I had him open a case.
Okay.
So
So it
that
doesn't take
wasn't
anything written
necessary
from
for
it.
you to do that, except he has called and talked with many of you and gotten statements and that
But
type of
I
stuff.
think we've been advised to go ahead and do that again anyway,
And if he needs that,
so,
move forward with it.
yeah.
Not from Detective Rhodes. We've been kind of advised by.
Oh, is there additional stuff?
Well, like
Any
everything
additional
that-
stuff should have an
We just
additional.
keep finding, you know, I mean, it's from the day we got here to, you know, everything from them withholding keys, computers, phones, radios.
Yeah, if there's separate things, file those or make a report of those so that they're on the record.
Put one together.
Okay.
another one.
What about the vehicles that they would buy, stake?
That's all included.
That's
That's-
also being investigated,
all
but
That's at a
that's on a
different,
different level.
that's at a different level, yeah.
There's also insurance fraud investigations that are going on.
Transporting out of state too?
I don't know about that one.
Can I ask a question to the board, if that's okay? So, relating back to your question about where's Bob Ferguson and all this, so there were meetings, and his office was formally asked to intervene, and at first they were excited about it, and then the second meeting where Prosecutor Dorsey and one of the county commissioners met, it was shut down by the higher-ups, they didn't want to.
Who are the higher-ups?
The people in Ferguson's office. So,
Yep.
and then he lied about it when he was asked publicly why he hadn't intervened, he said he wasn't invited, and that's not true at all. So it might
And thanks for your advice, Sheriff. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot.
No, absolutely.
I'm looking for that, where do we go with this?
Yeah, and Prosecutor Dorsey was really supportive of that, of like setting up those meetings and doing that work, so kudos to him for that, but he can't prosecute a case that isn't
Sure,
for him.
sure.
And he's the conduit to get to Bob Ferguson's office, so you might make that request again and see
So
what
is this
happens.
something we start with a letter to the Attorney General and as a board?
I would set up a meeting with Mike Dorsey first.
Okay. And just get his advice on how we should
He
proceed?
has to formally invite the AG's office to take the case, so I would do it in conjunction with that.
Okay.
He's been really supportive of our cause.
I also formally invited the AG's office to get involved in a investigation of a different fire district and claims that were made in that fire district, and they turned it down.
They've not been interested.
It's going to be a great government.
Any other questions for me? I will be back again next month.
Listen up, please.
I'll be back again next month, and I will stay after the meetings if you have any questions or concerns as far as law enforcement. And great work. Thank you. Excited
you,
for you
Sheriff.
guys.
Thanks for your time, Sheriff. Appreciate you.